E3. So they did announce that.
I have no knowledge of this, by the way, so
Okay,
I'm going to be learning.
I'm learning a little bit as well. There, it's not official, but I think that back in January, and I could have this wrong,
Oh, January 6th, the hall.
earlier in the
So,
month.
so
Yeah, I think they canceled the in-person E3, didn't they?
yeah,
Yeah.
yep. Now it's online
So
only.
So I know Nintendo Life the other day had reported that it seems like E3 is probably just canceled altogether.
That's
So I
interesting.
can I can go through here. Here's comicbook.com. I hate this site too, but so at the start of the month, I'm just gonna kind of skim through this. There wouldn't be an in-person event. Based on the statement, it was believed that there would be a digital version similar to 2021. However, based on some new reporting, it sounds like that the whole thing is just being scrapped. According to video game industry reporter Jeff Grubb, a digital iteration of E3 2022 is now also likely scrapped. In the new video released on YouTube, he explains that the digital component of the show is likely not happening, which means that this summer's landscape for gaming announcements will look much different. He says E3 has been canceled. Well, physically, it's been canceled. Digitally, probably also canceled.
Damn.
I won't go into more. And who knows? Maybe he's wrong, but he's probably right. That being said, not much to say here, but I did think it was noteworthy enough. Honestly, just we don't need E3 anymore.
I mean, yeah.
Um,
I was gonna say, like, unfortunately, like, as cool as E3 is, it's kind of what's happening with, like, the video game awards, where it's kind of at the current time being like bogged down with like they're spending a whole lot of money, but they also have to make some money. So it's like they're gonna start bogging the entire like show like conferences down with like more and more ads every single time. So
Yeah.
it's like just like video game awards, it's becoming an ad fest, and people hate that. So more less. Well, I mean, obviously people are gonna watch it, but people aren't happy about it.
well,
Um,
they all these game companies, they tend to release their news at different times throughout the year based on what suits them best, and that's just kind of
yeah,
how it works now. Do I like the idea of everybody coming together and celebrating video games? Yeah, but I do think like for people who might miss E3 for that aspect, keep in mind like there are other ways that we can do that. Like we don't have to have this convention where we announce a bunch of new games, although always announcing a couple games is always good too.
I was gonna say, like, I thought that the idea of them having their own conferences would be cool, like for like like when Nintendo it's like Directs or it's Treehouse, and then you have like the Sony, what is it, State of Play, um, and then you have I don't, does the Xbox one even have a specific name, or is it just called like an Xbox
I
conference?
think it's like Xbox Showcase or something, but
Okay,
they kind of do it every now and then, whatever. By the
yeah.
way, if you guys hear crying baby in the background, I'm so sorry. Diana's changing a diaper and her hands are freezing, so the baby does not like that. Um, I will try to mute the mic if that happens. Anyways, yeah, I didn't have a whole lot to say on that, but I did think it was noteworthy enough to mention. I stream E3 stuff every year, so that is one thing streamers will kind of miss out on that, but especially with Nintendo, because they just like Xbox and PlayStation. I mean, Nintendo does have their like, oh, next week a direct surprise, surprise. The difference is like Xbox and PlayStation always do that. Sometimes Nintendo is just like on Twitter. I remember Paper Mario was just like, here you go.
That's
Like,
true.
it's just like out of
Yeah,
nowhere, and I'm like, shit, what?
yeah.
So
I was
nobody
gonna,
could stream that or whatever. But it depends, like,
yeah.
but that's
I was
okay.
gonna
Like, I don't know, I don't care.
was gonna say that I do think it would be cool for them to continue to have their own conferences, but maybe save like one or two big announcements for E3 every year or something, so that there's at least something to look forward to, as opposed to them just like going over what they've already talked about or what people kind of already knew.
Yeah,
I think it would be cool to have a couple, like one or two big announcements per, just kind of like, even if it'd be shorter, just get it out there, have it, because that's where you're gonna have your big audiences, especially if it's shorter. More people are gonna be willing to tune in.